Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We are at game number 3 between WhiteRa and Sen. If you haven't already, game number 2. If you haven't already seen them, game number 1 and 2 are available on my channel. So take a look over there. Take a gander. Neander on over in that direction. And yeah, going to be another, again, Protoss versus Zerg. We are this time on Lost Temple. Lost Temple, nice map. Yeah, it's a good map. I enjoy the map in general. In general, it's a nice little map. Very abusable high ground over here. I guess I don't like the map that much, to be honest with you. I think I'm a little tired of Lost Temple. I've seen too many games on Lost Temple, and I've played too many games on Lost Temple. My favorite maps, as of this moment, what would my favorite maps be? Well, I would have to say that my favorite 1v1 map right now is probably still Metalopolis. I like the dynamics of Metalopolis. I enjoy it. Although, when I did play Terran, I obviously really love Lost Temple because of the high ground. Dropping siege tanks up there is absolutely hilariously devastating to many players. But, you know, everyone can take advantage of that high ground. It's just not nearly as effective for some races. You know, I play random now, so I do understand the issue being Zerg on this map against Terran. It can be a little frustrating not being able to expand over here. It's just difficult to deal with, especially what the Terran player can do. I know there's no Terran in this game, but I'm trying to explain some things. I'm just trying to talk about crap at the beginning of the game. Give me a break here. What the Terran player can do is they can drop a siege tank. They can bring some Marines or drop some SCVs for some missile turrets as well. That denies your Overlord scout, denying vision of the high ground, and allowing the tank to just rain hell on your expansion. So it can be frustrating, but that's enough about that garbage because there isn't even a Terran in this matchup. So we are looking at a Protoss versus Zerg, and in this particular matchup should be an interesting game. We can see some high ground dropping, so this is a little more abusable for Protoss over here because we can see some high Templar on the high ground, and that can be obviously quite an issue for a Zerg player. Storms going down on your expansion, but at the very same time, we could also see some Infestor dropping, so for some fungal growth and Infested Terran. So that's something you don't see quite as often. I would like to see more Zerg players doing that. It can be an effective tactic, can definitely work. And scouting information, yada yada yada, same old, same old. Both players going for standard openings. Spawning pool down, no extractor as of yet though, so going to be going for a little bit more econ heavy. There we go, finally coming out with that extractor at 17 supply. So this expansion going down for Sen. Sen bringing down that drone to check for that little pylon wall off cheese harass that he dealt with in that first game that was a little bit frustrating for him. Going to be moving out and probably placing his Overlord right over here. Wants to get out of the way before any Stalker comes out. Obviously not out quite as of yet because the Cybernetics core is not finished. Looks like we're going to be seeing the Zealot rallied straight to Sen's expansion here. So going to be trying to do a little bit of harassment. We do have 2 Zerglings on the way though. Now 2 Zerglings not going to be enough to deal with that 1 Zealot. And so in seeing that, he should be pretty comfortable. Do we have some more Zerglings coming out as well? No, still just these 2. Unit tab, taking a look at that. So that 1 Zealot right now, 2 Zerglings just about to pop. And nope, we do have some more Zerglings coming out as well for Sen. So Sen should be okay against this Zealot pressure right now. Going to be coming out with that Warp Gate research, that's it. And also the Stalker. Stalker's going to be rallied in this direction as well. So not sure if he's going to wait. I think he might engage with the Zealot before the Stalker comes out. I think he did lose his drone as well. I lost his probe, rather. Now these 6 Zerglings going to try to just get a surround on the Zealot, and they're going to corner him, pin him right over here, and trying to prevent the surround. Wants to move in the corner as much as possible. Doing a good job of microing away those Zerglings, so that allowed him to keep those Zerglings alive. But here comes the Stalker. Oh, the Stalker. Now the Stalker's not going to be able to push in with that Spine Crawler there. The Zerglings deciding to retreat. They don't want to lose their forces unnecessarily. Sen going to be moving forward with the Queen, and that should be enough with that threat of the Spine Crawler to push back the Stalker. Spine Crawler just about finished, and there we go. Stalker wants to go home right now. A little poke there right in the eye. That must have hurt. Do have an expansion going down. Now Sen is aware of this, you can see. So Sen knows at this point, crap, Protoss player going for a quick expansion. I must do something about this. I must expand myself or I must do some damage. We saw in the last game how an issue can arise if a Protoss player is on the same amount of bases that you are as a Zerg player. That can be problematic. That's something that you don't want to happen if at all possible. The reasons, of course, being, these are really kind of basic ideas, but the reasons being you want a stronger economy, yes, obviously, but you want those additional larvae as well. You kind of need those larvae to maintain a large enough and strong enough army against a Protoss player who is on the same amount of bases as you. Gonna be doing a nice little gateway wall off, also having these sentries as well to force field if necessary. Any sort of a bust, like a Baneling bust, or maybe even a strong early Roach push, getting those force field push. I think I said push. I hope I didn't say the other word that I thought I said. Stalker going to be moving into the base here. A little bit of room to squeeze right through right there. I'm not sure I don't think there's any room right here. Actually, I'm pretty sure that the graphics on this are a little deceiving. I think this is technically supposed to be raised up. This is like raised ground right here, and units cannot fit through there. I'm pretty positive that when I wall off on this map that that's how it works. So nice little spine crawler situated right here in the center, gonna prevent any pushes, and also coming down with some additional spine crawlers, 3 spine crawlers in fact. So what does this tell us? This is a very telling sign as well. We are gonna be seeing a very, very strong droning right now. Gonna be going for lots of drones. He's protecting himself, but he's not getting units. He instead wants to work on the economy. Also, this Hydra den going to be up here. Do we have a Roach Warren as well? So no, just going with that Hydra. So starting off with that spawning pool. In fact, no metabolic boost at this point. Going straight to Hydra, getting that range upgrade as well for the Hydras. So wants to do a strong early Hydra push, which can be effective, right, against gateway units. But the issue, the problem, the threat is Colossus. Colossus will do very strongly against Hydralisk, so you do have to be careful. He does have to be wary of that possibility. Nice little observer going to be coming up here, giving vision of the high ground and going to allow these stalkers and sentries to take out that overlord. So that may be, of course, happening. And look at that. Look at that awareness from Sen, pulling back that overlord, aware that this is coming. He wants to get him far away so that he doesn't take damage from those stalkers over there. And how did he know that? He didn't see, he didn't see the robotics, but he knew that because of the timing. He knew that a robotics would be out around that point, and he knew that an observer was likely to try to do this. This is the kind of awareness that professional players have over normal players. They know the timings and the possibility of timings when it comes to buildings, units, all sorts of stuff. And look at this. Nidus network right now for Sen. So Sen's going to be looking to do some Nidus action. It is, in fact, being warped in right here at the high ground. So going to be harassing this expansion. Doesn't want to put too many units through, though, just enough to do the damage because they can only reach so far. But it's going to at least deny mining from about half of this expansion over here for WhiteRa. That's going to be quite annoying for him, that's for sure. So it is up, going to be spewing out some units. Also coming out with this queen, we're going to be seeing a creep tumor, not a queen tumor. We're going to be seeing a creep tumor drop to spread some creep, and he's going to try to deny the expansion. This is pretty awesome play. Creep tumor is going to go down, going to spread creep to the low ground here, and then he's going to try to pop one more creep tumor. But the problem, of course, this is a great idea, but the problem is that there is an observer out, so the observer is going to allow him to kill the creep tumors. But if he can even spread the creep momentarily, he's going to be in a good spot. Now going to be taking out this pylon right here. That, of course, is the problem. Look, you can see WhiteRa is not pylon blocked. Man, my words today. He is supply blocked right now, so that's of course an issue. Going to be going for these destructible rocks from the high ground here. He cannot really reach, only about that half there. So going to be trying to get this additional expansion to try to compensate for the fact that this lost expansion. And Sen doing a great job there. See, there we go. There's that spread, but no, you can see that observer move forward. So that's exactly the threat that I talked about. It's a good idea, though. If there was no observer on the board, that'd be really awesome, spreading creep and denying him any more buildings of this area. Now, with vision to the high ground, he's going to have no problem dealing with his Hydralisks. Might want to just hightail it out of here at this point, jump right back in the Nidus Worm and head back home. But no, decided to stay and do as much damage as he can. Just let his units recharge a little bit. And actually, he's going to be bringing a few more Hydralisks in. Now, you can see throughout all this time, Sen has bought himself time to get this expansion up. And you're going to be transferring some drones over. But here come the Colossus, the big threat to a Hydra heavy Roach Hydra army, anything like that. We can see this Roach Warren out as well, is Colossus. So a little bit in a tough spot. Getting this Overseer right here. I'm going to allow him to drop a Changeling. Also going to allow him to get some extra vision, some extended vision for his Hydralisk. So yeah, pretty neat, pretty nifty over there. Some expansions coming down as well. Not expansions, some upgrades coming down as well for Sen. We're seeing that range damage upgrade, that Roach speed upgrade as well. Burrows coming up, Speedling just about finished. So lots of upgrades right now. Basically at this point, what Sen is doing is he's using this harassment to buy himself lots of time, and the Overseer, of course, allowed him to take out that observer that was there. Allowed him to he didn't kill it, but he forced it back because he knew if he stayed there for too long, it would drop. So getting vision, he's gonna want to take out that observer. Please take out that observer. The other thing though is the Colossus does have vision on the high ground, so he needs to take out the observer and the Colossus. But no, the observer's still alive, trying to do what he can for damage to the stalkers and sentries. Not even actually target firing that Colossus at all. And there goes the Nidus Worm. Bye bye for you, buddy. So not making use of that. Roach is coming up, actually going to try to take out that Colossus as quickly as possible, target firing that Colossus, and he might actually manage to do it. Colossus going very, very low, forced to pull back, but no, Colossus makes it with his life. So those were wasted units, unfortunately, for Sen. That's definitely not something Sen wanted to have happened. You can see, again, Sen has been just macroing up very, very hard at this point, not coming out with units until now. He's got some units on the way, but as of now, he's got 1 Roach and 2 Zerglings on the board. We do have a ton more Roaches coming out, also coming out with that Spire, so lots of upgrades. Here comes another hatchery for some additional larvae. This expansion is up and saturated. frustrated, would like to see some extractors come down. Getting that extra gas is, of course, very, very necessary as Zerg. It is certainly the case that during the later stages of the game, with all the larvae that you usually sit on, you want to be able to reinforce quickly, and if you don't have enough gas, then you can't reinforce with the proper units. You can see doing a great job, though, of macroing. He's keeping his resources very, very low, coming out with those extra units, of course, because he knew that WhiteRa may have a nice little army right in the center over here, and he wants to make sure he can defend against it if at all possible. Now, WhiteRa does have the high yield right now, and looks like Sen's going to be moving to try to get the same thing as well for his side of the map. Definitely something he wants to do, but we are seeing nothing really but roaches right now. Now, we do have this Spire coming out. Sen knows the fact that there are Colossus on the board, so it looks like roach heavy with Corruptors is what we're going to be seeing. I mean, I would have to imagine that Corruptors would come out. Zergling's going to be spotting this army. Roach is probably going to want to pull back at this point, but no, deciding to engage, feeling very bold. Going to be pushing forward, trying to engage. Force fields going down, trying to chop his army in half, doing a nice little split there of the Roaches to spread them in half. Wants to avoid getting cut in half by those force fields if at all possible. That is something that's very devastating, and definitely something he doesn't want to deal with if he can avoid it. So pulling back the Roaches, and here come the Corruptors. Great call there, Force. 2 Corruptors, though. Maybe a third or fourth would be good. Now, 2 Corruptors, of course, will do damage, but his threat is the Stalkers target firing them. I guess his ideal situation would be, though, that Stalkers target fire Corruptors. As such, the Roaches take out the Stalkers very quickly and then can move on to the Colossus without a problem. That would kind of be the ideal situation if it works out that way. It doesn't always work out the way you would like it to, though. I guess we all are aware of that. So here comes this additional expansion at the high yield right now. So Sen doing a good job of staying on top of his opponent's expansions. Maybe if he researched that transport ability from the Overlords, he could move into this expansion as well. There'd be nothing that WhiteRa could really do to deal with it. Big push coming right from WhiteRa, trying to replace those spine crawlers over there. Roach is pushing forward to do as much damage as possible. Corruptors moving in, trying to target fire this Colossus, but not enough damage. Spine crawlers are going down, so that's going to help in the engagement. Getting a great surround over here. Sen moving from the backside, and Roaches actually have managed their durability, their strength, have managed to do quite a bit of damage to WhiteRa's units. We are seeing 20 Zerglings reinforcing. Corruptors going to be taking down this final Colossus, I would hope so. Colossus is very low, but no, not taking down. A few Roaches going to be moving in, trying to micro away from those Zealots to take as little damage as possible. If they can take out those Zealots, and if he can drop this Corruptor, he may be okay. Zergling streaming in right now, trying to get a surround on those Stalkers, spreading out those Roaches to try to avoid as much splash damage as possible from the Colossus. Colossus does drop. Roaches going to do okay against these units. Do we have some more? Yes, we have some more Roaches coming in right now. Going to be pulling back, burrowing his units, losing these observers. That's unfortunate. 12 more Roaches being made right now. Once those reinforcements come in, he should be okay against the Stalker army. I would imagine so. Pushing forward, look at all those Roaches. Should make pretty quick work of these. Are these upgraded as well? Yes, they are 1-1. Now, the Stalkers are 1-1 as well, so we are going to need those additional 19 Roaches to come out right here. We are seeing some additional Stalker forces pushing forward as well as this Colossus. Colossus is definitely going to be a problem. He needs to get rid of that quickly, if at all possible. Try to move in, but so many Stalkers right now from WhiteRa. WhiteRa going to be doing too much damage right now for Sen. Sen doesn't look like he can hold this off. Taking a few extra shots there. Those Roaches were rallied, unfortunately. Take a few extra shots before they started attacking. More Roaches pushing forward, trying to push back the Stalkers. Some more Roaches coming from the backside as well. Going to be trying to pull down the Stalkers there. Dwindling forces right now for WhiteRa. It looks like Sen actually may push this back, but no, more Stalker forces reinforcing right now for WhiteRa. So Sen doesn't push this back and has to call GG again. So WhiteRa does manage to pull this one through. Very close matchup between the two players, though, with a little on edge in that little engagement there. Wasn't sure who was going to come through victorious. But it was, of course, WhiteRa, so good job on him. Good job by him. Again, that Colossus, man, I tell you, this thing right here is the bane of Zerg ground. It's very hard to deal with. I personally think that had we seen maybe a Corruptor or two more from Sen sitting on this high ground, trying to take out that Colossus while the Roaches and the Zerglings did what they could to those Stalkers, he may have been in a better spot. That may have been a better situation. There's really no way of telling, though. It all depends on positioning. It depends on micro. It depends on what happens to the units. I mean, there was a few miss areas over here. For example, we saw those 2 Roaches move forward, or maybe there was 3. We saw a few Roaches move forward, and one of them took 3 or 4 shots before they actually started engaging. That was because they were normal rallied, right-clicking on the ground or having units just rallied in a direction. When they walk there, as they walk there, until they get to that point, they don't attack. But if they are attack move rallied, then they'll attack as soon as they're engaged. So that was a problem, losing, taking a few extra hits before you start doing damage. That's, of course, an issue. Obviously, Sen had so much going on. He had units moving from every direction. He can't possibly attack move every single one. Just too much going on. But very close matchup. Sen you know, he almost pulled that off. If he had just taken care of this army, again, maybe another Corruptor, maybe with that Corruptor taking out the Colossus, he could have gone a little more Zergling heavy, and that could have allowed him to take out the Stalkers. They don't have Blink, so there would have been a nice surround there. But either way, good matchup between these two players. So this was the end of game number 3. We're going to move on to game number 4. As always, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, keep watching, and keep owning. But as far as the actual gateway itself, not seeing it at the front, it may cause him to check areas of his base. It's kind of like a little bit of trickery. He might be forced to check areas of his base to look for a Zealot Rush. Even more so, the fact that he's playing WhiteRa is a good reason to do that in and of itself, because WhiteRa is known for doing things like proxy gateway against a Zerg player to just try to do some early harassment. So just doing this, it can be a little frustrating because, he doesn't know where that gateway is. Now we can see here, obviously the gateway is at the front of, or no, it's not the front. The gateway is inside of WhiteRa's base. Come down with the pylon at the back here. Going to be checking those back rocks. That is, of course, a weak area, something to be worried about. Now, in seeing right now, something else that just took place, in seeing the fact that this wall off isn't complete, not only is he going to be, you can see he's checking his base right now. Look at that Zerglin, checking the base for that proxy gateway. But he also knows that the wall off isn't complete, so he's going to be moving forward with the Zerglings to at least check to see what exactly is going on, because he knows that he can get inside of WhiteRa's base if he tries to. And unless another building comes down right now, and once that happens, and it looks like it is going to, so once this additional building gets placed down, WhiteRa can just put the Zealot on hold position, and he's going to be just dandy.